afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Just Parlays with Chris King. I'm just along for the ride. I'm your host, Scott Steehn. I am the lead handicapper at WHINERS.com. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, I noticed you're along for the ride because I noticed on the intro there. Now instead of you say "and Jim Williams," now it just says "along with Scott Steehn."
No, nice, very nice. Yeah.
So I guess you are along for the ride. I don't know which match pitch is that supposed to be. DeGrom, where your name comes up.
I got to look again. I just saw it flash real quick. I know it's a Mets right-hander, so it's probably DeGrom.
I used to have the Vegas goaltender. Now I just get the NFL logo in the middle of the field, like it's just some generic picture they took, at the Pro Bowl or something.
Very good. Hey, how'd your weekend go, buddy? I know you didn't crash any more cars, so that's good.
It was very, very quiet. I did cook some steaks yesterday, so I mean that's always a plus.
Excellent. Your wife a steak fan? Is that a nice Mother's Day meal for her?
Yeah. Michael's already talking about how hope that we listen to him on Joey Logano as a dark horse. I don't know if you consider Logano a dark horse when he won the poll to start.
Yeah, but I give him credit.
He did mention it because the qualifying hadn't happened yet.
That's right. That's exactly right. No, I will give full 100% full-throated credit to Michael Dose for the call on Joey Logano. Not only did he win the poll, won the race. And
I was happy for a long time when Eric Jones was running in the top 10, and then he got wrecked.
Everybody got wrecked, man. It was brutal.
Hamlin kept going up and down.
What's that?
Hamlin kept going up and down, and I don't know what happened to him. I think did he get tangled with Cody Ware or some crap?
Cody Ware, last place. That's Ware. Although not yesterday, because Reichel's pick was in last place.
Right, so make sure you all wish Reichel good wishes for picking Kyle Larson. That's what happens when you pick the short favorite sometimes.
Well, I had him in my matchup, so I can't be too excited about it.
I don't remember who I picked in the matchup, so
I don't know. You didn't lay 150 and lose. I'll tell you that much.
No, I think it was 105, but I can't remember who it was.
Were you on Rich Strike? Let's talk about the big upset of the weekend. Were you on Rich Strike Saturday, the 21 horse?
No, from what I understand, he wasn't even in the race as of 8:00 Saturday morning. He popped in afterwards.
He made it Friday. He went in Friday morning.
Oh, he did go on Friday morning? Okay.
Yep.
I saw people talking about how he wasn't in there as of Saturday morning.
I like these nicknames that Lex has given us. I'm half of Great Scott. I'm fine with that. And Buffalo Bill.
Are you Great Scott, or are you Average Scott, or are you just, how does that work?
Depends on the day, depends on my picks. Yesterday, if you were a premium subscriber, I was Great Scott. I went 3-0. If you followed my free play, I was below Average Scott. I had I faded Charlie Morton, buddy. What could be?
I faded Charlie Morton too when I wrote that game up. And
what could be easier money than fading Charlie Morton? And he went
fading the Reds.
He went out and just dominated. So the Reds won a game this weekend. So that was
they played the Pirates though.
I know, right? Michael on the Dodgers -1.5. A's, Tigers, Nerfy. There you go.
I've actually got the Dodgers as one of my picks because you know who they're playing, Scott?
They're playing Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do know that. I don't want to tell you why. I don't want to spoil our next show, but I do know a little bit about the Dodgers game.
And the A's, Tigers, Paul Blackburn going in that one. Blackburn's pitched well for Oakland, which is impressive considering, he's basically been a scrap heap pitcher most of his career.
Blackburn pitching in the dead of night.
I mean, he doesn't go deep or he hasn't pitched much in the last few years. But I mean, he's pitched well. I mean, he's beat Tampa Bay a couple times. He's got a good record. He's got a good ERA. I mean, is it sustainable? Probably not.
Right.
But with the way the baseball is this year, where you can hit the ball, where if you hit it a couple of years ago, that ball would still be traveling. Now they just seem to die on the warning track. It's kind of like Willie Mays Hayes in Major League 2 when in spring training he's hitting them all over the park, and then he comes out in the opening game against the White Sox. He cranks and thinks he's going to go out, and it dies on the warning track. Well, must be the wind.
I don't know if you were watching the Atlanta game, but they were. I can't think who it was. It was a lefty for Milwaukee when they were down 4-0. Guy on first base absolutely cranked it to right field. I said, "Oh, that ball's 5 rows deep." Barely made the warning track.
Yeah, there's something up with the baseball. I mean, I know they're
Absolutely.
talking about the humidifier. Everybody's got a humidifier or a humidor now.
Yep.
I don't think that's it.
You don't think that's it? You
No,
think
I read something where they said that they've changed the core of the baseball, so it's not the same thing that it was
not as
before.
Corey?
Yeah, so they expected it was going to take off maybe 1 or 2 or somewhere between like 5 and 6 feet or something of distance, but it's knocking down balls that should have left the park.
No question.
And yeah, and go back. Name one park that would have been in
Yellowstone. There you go. Michael, already writing off the Cubs. Chris, are you ready to write off your Cubs?
No, because we still got the Pirates and the Reds.
Okay,
I mean, there's still got a bunch of games against them. We haven't played the Reds yet that I can think of. And, losing to the Dodgers, there's a lot of teams that are going to lose to the Dodgers. Let's be honest.
Boy, that ain't no lie.
Especially when you're rolling out, Justin Steele because Stroman all of a sudden went on the IL early before the game.
Steele was really good. His first 2 starts?
Yeah.
And then that pretty much went away. Hey, special shout out to our jack of all trades around there. I know he's listening because that's part of his job that he does. David, the Dominator, has went to see a concert this weekend. Went to see Nightwish. You know Nightwish, Chris?
I don't believe so.
I'd never heard of them. They're Scandinavian, and they are like symphonic metal. It's the only way to describe it.
Is there anything that you can compare them to?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not. No.
No, I know. I've listened to some weird music over time, but I can't say I know them. I mean,
no. I got a big concert weekend this weekend. I'm going to go see Reckless Kelly on Wednesday. Some of you probably don't know, and then I'm going to go see a stringed quartet do Queen on Friday night, and then I'm going to go see George Thorogood on Saturday.
Well, that'll be a good show.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get good tickets. I got like 4th row tickets to Thorogood. My wife and I have seen them, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times. But some of these guys, you look at them, you're like, I don't know how much longer this dude's going to be touring.
Well, I mean, people were saying that about Keith Richards in 1965. So.
Dude, I saw the Stones in 1981 doing their farewell tour.
They're kind of like Kiss.
I shit you not. So,
I mean, basically, a lot of these bands, the Stones and Kiss and everybody, retirement to them is about as permanent as it is in the world of professional wrestling. I mean, how many times has Ric Flair retired? How many times has Terry Funk retired?
Yeah, I know. Well, you see it with with Edge and they brought Stone Cold for WrestleMania. And,
right, exactly.
All right, bud.
Sting is still wrestling. That's Steve Borden, not Gordon Sumner.
Right, exactly
for those of you out there. Back to music real quick. Dream Theater is a band I really like. You ever listen to them?
I've heard the name. I don't know that I've listened to them much.
They're they're kind of a progressive, but they do. There's some of their albums where they tell that's the whole thing, kind of like Tommy was with the Who, where it's a whole story.
Yeah.
Same with Queensryche with Operation Mindcrime or Empire. My favorite line from that is on Empire is in the title song where it starts with a message on an answering machine. It says, "Sorry, I got hit by a 2-ton heavy thing," and then the music starts. It's like, "Hey, wow, that sounded like Thursday."
Nice. Very nice. What was the last concert you saw?
Rush.
Do. So that's been a minute.
Yeah.
Because they haven't toured since 18, 17?
Yeah, this was back in it was back in the double zeros.
Oh, very good. The odds.
I always wondered what that term is, And Scott, we have a player. One team said that they need help. They've never bet baseball, but they're trying today.
All right. Well, it's not a bad day. A lot of games. So let's see what we can get rocking. By the way, Michael Doe says he saw Ozzy's farewell tour multiple times. Yeah, no shit. All right, buddy. Well, speaking of, that's a pretty good segue there with one team as we segue into today's action. I bet you even got a little baseball to talk about, huh?
Yep, and look at that. Michael was talking about the Dodgers. You were said it might come up on your show, just some random chance. But let's talk about the Dodgers and the Buccos. The Dodgers 19-7, 9-5. Unfortunately, they swept the Cubs at Wrigley over the weekend. But when you're dealing with Kershaw, Buehler, and company, it's an uphill climb, especially when you've got a bunch of pop guns in the middle of your lineup trying to hit them.
Yep.
We're going to see Julio Urias, 120 games last year. He's 2-1 with a 1.88 ERA, 8 walks, 19 strikeouts, and 24 innings against, let's call him the well-traveled Jose Quintana.
That's fair.
0-1, 3.38 ERA, 125 whip, 9 walks, 20 strikeouts over 24 innings. I think the big story here, Scott, is the offenses. The Dodgers lead the majors in runs per game at 515. They average 5.07 on the road. Pirates are 22nd. They average 378. I mean, they're better at home, but their pitching has not been all that great, and their bullpen is, well, what can we say about their bullpen that might not offend people?
Challenged. They
Sure.
try hard.
Yeah, I mean that's true. They try hard.
They look good in their uniforms. I don't know.
I don't know. So if you got a guy like Bartolo Colon, I don't know if you can get away with saying that they look good.
No, but I mean, you get a 6'3" guy that throws hard. You're like, well, man, he looks like a pitcher. Well, he does.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'll give you that. The weird thing is that the Dodgers are scoring all those runs despite batting 236 as a team,
making them count, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, you look the Pirates starters have an ERA of 5.40, makes their bullpen 4.29 mark look downright impressive.
Finally, we can get to the bullpen.
Yeah, but I know you don't want to talk a whole lot about this one because you're going to talk about it in about an hour.
Yep.
But suffice to say, I'm guessing you're back in the Dodgers here, who are 12-2 in the last 14 meetings in the Steel City.
Playing really good baseball right now, man. I hate the Dodgers, but you have to tip your cap to the way they're playing, and you can't let personal animus fall into it. So, yeah. Yep, I'm Dodgers.
I mean, I hate the Dodgers myself, but you
want to lay the run line is the only way I would play this.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to win by multiple runs.
I'm not gonna say it's the only way I'd play it. It's one of two ways I'd play it. I would also play the alternative run line at -2.5, maybe get a little plus money there.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look that up to see what it was, but
I can tell you this: they've won their last 6 by 3 or more.
Yeah, so it's been maybe 110 plus 110.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in that neighborhood would be my guess.
But yeah, the Pirates lost their last 4 series openers. They're 1-5 in their last 6 at home.
Yeah,
we'll take the Dodgers.
Yep, all day, day.
Scott, did you give $5 or $10 for the minority interest in the Dodgers ownership in the Chelsea Football Club?
I did not, and I don't even know what that means.
The owners of the Dodgers have now bought Chelsea, the English football team.
Okay.
So Michael wants to know if you contributed to be a minority owner.
I did not. I did not contribute to be a minority owner of Chelsea. I would have if they'd asked me for $10 and they send me a stock certificate. I'd have done that. The Green Bay Packers.
And Ninth Wonder said it amazes him every time he sees Jimi Hendrix setting his guitar on fire in Monterey back in 1967.
It's a great clip, man. It's a fantastic clip. I saw somewhere, I want to say within the last 5 years, that guitar sold somewhere.
I can only imagine what the price tag would have been.
It was a lot. Yeah, obviously, it was a lot. It's tickling. That memory is tickling the back of my brain. Maybe somebody's got more information on it, but I swear that came up for sale at an auction. And I did not become a minority owner of that guitar either. Probably.
Would you rather become a minority owner of Chelsea or the guitar?
I'd rather have that guitar. I would absolutely rather have that guitar, man. I've paid a lot more attention to Jimi Hendrix in my life than I have English soccer. Sorry. I know it's a great sport, a beautiful game. I know. It just never grabbed me. Sorry.
Yep, you're right. That charred guitar sold for £280,000.
Of what?
The British money there. Back in 2008.
Okay. All right. So we've learned 2 things. My memory is not totally shot, and I'm older than I think because I thought it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Which is weird. It said it was still less than the $1.8 million that they fetched for his Woodstock.
I remember thinking at the time it was a fairly reasonable price for what it was. I remember thinking like, wow, only whatever, $300,000, $350 American, whatever that was at that point. I believe Jimmy. Yeah, he did that. You're absolutely right, Michael. He was left-handed, strung a right-handed guitar upside down, and strung a right-handed guitar opposite and then played it backwards. That is absolutely 100% correct.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was completely self-taught.
It's amazing the kind of talent that he had.
If you ever wanted a super deep dive, it's about a 24-part series. It's called Rock and Roll Archaeology on a podcast. I'm about right in the middle of it, and it is. If you're a rock and roll fan, about the old rock and roll history, how it all happened, I can't recommend that enough. And no, I don't have any kind of tie-in with them or anything like that. I think.
Are you a minority owner?
I'm not. No, I wish I was. It was a really well-produced thing, and it's fantastic. So.
Bill, I actually do like the Celtics. I think they should have won Game 3. I think Boston kind of got jobbed by the officials. How they didn't call a foul on Jrue Holiday as a shooting foul at the end there was.
Yeah, he was obviously had his feet planted. He was an upward swing, and
so I think Boston's going to bounce back and take that one to even the series. You have any thoughts on Scott?
I took it as my play of the day. I got Boston pick. It's been bouncing back and forth. Bucks -1 and pick. So keep it.
I saw it at Boston plus 1.5 this afternoon.
You can if you can grab that, grab it all day or day right there. There was a lot of things that went wrong for Boston. They were still able to keep that game competitive. Should have tied it. Could have won it. I will say this: the only thing that worries me, you talk about the officiating, really favored Milwaukee.
Wait, who's officiating that game tonight? Is that Scott Foster? Is it?
I don't know, bud. I don't know. I haven't seen the officials yet. I do know that the Bucks shot like 20 fewer free throws than the Celtics did in that game. So that's the only thing that worries me about taking the Celtics. I am on the Celtics like you guys are. That worries me because you think about, well, the Boston really got jobbed. Well, they had 20 more free throws. So
Boston shot 34 free throws. Milwaukee shot 17.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-to-1 ratio.
Doubled them up. Not 20 more, but they doubled them up.
Yeah.
Do you think John Moran's injury is karma for what happened to Gary Payton from Dylan Brooks? Well, if you believe in the big wheel of life and if you believe in karmic justice, then yeah, I could totally see that. How do you like Memphis if Ja doesn't go, buddy?
I don't. I mean, you look at the way he went out in the series. I think they said he hasn't played 29 minutes, and in those 29 minutes, Memphis has been outscored by 32.
See, and that's weird because when they were without him this season, I believe they were
20-5.
I was going to say 20-5.
They were 18-6-1 against the spread without him.
So something to consider, at least. All right, what else you got, buddy?
On the other one on the diamond, we're going to talk about another NL West team. In fact, two of them. Can you believe it? Two of them in the same game.
I cannot.
It's like Ron Burgundy when he tried out for Anchorman. Well, the Astros and Cubs decided to play. What's better than playing one game? They played two. I don't know why. The Rockies 16-12. The Giants 16-12. How about that? The problem for Colorado, this game's on the road, and what's been an ongoing trend since the franchise came into existence, the Rockies struggle hitting away from Coors Field.
Although they've probably won almost as many games on the road this year as they have last year. They were dreadful.
Yeah, they were brutal last year.
Dreadful on the road. So,
what do you make of the? That shouldn't say Cardinals. That should say Rockies, but don't worry about it. Austin Gomber. Oh, that's why, because he was an ex-Cardinal. So right. I probably was looking at that and said, "Oh, look, yeah.
Look, it's Nolan Arenado on the mound again."
Yeah, against Carlos Rodon, who took his first loss in his last start because they didn't score any runs against who else? The Dodgers. You look at that, Scott. The Rockies 9th in the majors in runs per game, but they're just 29th when it comes to scoring on the road. Yep. 2.75 runs a game. They don't hit well away from Coors. Like I said, that's been an ongoing trend since 1993.
Yep.
Let's just take a look at how bad their splits are, so we can tell you that they're bad. Colorado on the road. Here we go. 224 as a team average, 10 homers. They've got an on-base percentage of 291, a slugging percentage of 352. Compare that to at home at Coors, they're batting 281 with an on-base percentage of 348 and a slugging percentage of 454. So you're talking about a 100-point drop in your slugging, 57 points in on-base percentage, and 57 in team batting average. The Rockies on the road, averaging, let's see.
2.7. 2.7.
Oh, yeah. Compared to at home, they're averaging about 5.75.
Yeah, their overall number is 4.5. And if you're averaging 2.7 on the road, that means you're scoring a shit ton at home, obviously.
Yeah. Average on balls in play, 325 at cores, 272 on the road.
Not ideal, Bob. Not ideal. And this bullpen from Colorado, for whatever reason, has been much worse on the road. Now, they're not good all the way around. They got a 4.99 ERA overall. However, on the road, that number balloons to 6.34. So if Gomber can't go 9, could be trouble.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that ugly on the road, but I mean, yeah, that's just brutal.
Not good. Now, the good news is Gomber will give you some distance. He's gone 6 or better his last 3 starts. Been good, giving up just 4 earned runs over those 18 2/3. So if you want a little Colorado hope, Gomber has been pitching better after giving up 8 runs in his first 9 innings, covering his first 2 starts of the season. He's settled down and been much better. The bad news is one of those games was against Detroit. The other one was against Philadelphia. I mean, the other one was against Washington, and then Philly thrown in there. So you've got 2 of the 3 offensively challenged teams, and Philadelphia has been remarkably inconsistent. So we're going to find out what they're made up tonight. I'm going to tell you, as far as plays go, for me personally, I like the Dodgers play a lot better than I like this one. Even though the Rockies are awful on the road, that's just a little too high price for me.
Even though the run line is minus 110.
And if I'm gonna take the home team on the run line, I want them to be in a position to absolutely dominate, and I'm just not sure that's what's going to happen in this one. So I don't disagree with you. I'm just not quite as on board as I was the Dodgers. How about that?
That works. Ninth Wonder wants to know what your thoughts are on live betting baseball.
Love it. Love live betting baseball. Couple of strategies there. You can certainly try to get down and back the starters, see how the starters are going, see how they get through the first inning. And you can also take a look and project bullpen usage, knowing who's going to be coming out of the bullpen, how many innings that bullpen has pitched in their last 3 or 4 games, and who's likely to come out and how they match up with the other team. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, probably more moving parts to betting live baseball than betting live in almost any other sport. But I like it, and it presents a great number of opportunities for profit. You a fan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's a lot of good options you can get out there. Sometimes you get those ridiculous inflated run lines all of a sudden because, a team will have a big inning.
Yeah.
So then you can get, somebody plus 5 or 6.5 or whatever.
Sure. They put up 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and that number balloons up to 11.5, 12.5. And you're like, oh, fuck, they're not going to do that for the rest of the game.
Right.
And most of the time they don't. Now, sometimes they do, and you look stupid and you lose. But I look to go, and that's pretty much my live betting strategy, regardless of the sport. I look for inflated numbers due to immediacy bias, and then try to go the other way.
That makes sense.
So, a lot of times, you'll calm that down. You'll change out pitchers. The pitcher will find himself. A lot of times in the first inning, you'll see even good pitchers get hammered, and there's an old adage in baseball with good pitchers: if you don't get them early, you ain't going to get them. And a lot of times that's very, very true.
Or in the case of bad pitchers, Toronto had the bases loaded with 1 out in the first yesterday. They had 2 runs on the board, and then Chapman fanned on what was a horrible at bat, and then the guy got out of the inning only giving up 2 runs, and Cleveland came back to win.
Michael brings up a good point. He says San Francisco is playing with Austin Slater, Michael Dubon, Darren Roof, and Estrada.
Darren Roof sucks. I'm surprised he still has a job.
No relation to Phil Roof, by the way. You know who Phil Roof is?
Phil Roof. Sounds familiar.
Old catcher for the Kansas City A's, and I think he went on to at least maybe coach first base or something. Who won NASCAR yesterday? None of us, James. That's all you need to know. Joey Logano won, buddy. Went pole, started on the pole and wasn't quite wire to wire, but he was close all day long and ended up winning it.
Yeah, like they say, even a broken watch is right twice a day. I mean, we've seen Logano have some horrible races.
Yeah,
to be generous.
Yeah, we've backed him a couple times, and he has completely no-showed for us. Lex says, yeah, the Rockies are going to lose because it's an away game. That's kind of what Chris is basing his whole strategy here on this one. So,
Well, I mean, you look, they're 2-8 in the last 10 meetings in San Francisco. They're 5-17 in the last 22 against the Giants. Period.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I get the NL West is a blender when you've got the Dodgers and the Giants. Even San Diego's played well.
Damn good baseball this year.
Um,
Arizona and Colorado both playing better than everybody anticipated. They're not going to be mistaken for good teams, but they're not just the absolute shit that we thought they were going to be. Especially Arizona competing with what we thought would be Pittsburgh for the worst team.
Yeah, I mean, you look, all 5 teams in that division are above 500 right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, how scary is that?
When Scott and I did our breakdown, we did it with Tim Earl, and we called the NL West the best division in baseball, and I haven't seen anything to dissuade me of that notion in the first month or so.
I would agree with you. I mean, it's going to be the tough part is going to be when they start cannibalizing each other.
Right, and we're seeing it now. So, all right, cool. So take the favorites, lay the number there in the NL West. I think if we get to take away from those first 2 games.
Yep.
And what else you got? Anything else?
Now we get to go to the ice.
Little ice. It's a hot day. Let's get a little ice to cool us.
Is it hot there, or is it 72 and clear?
No, it's 82, 83. Probably the warmest day we've had this year. Literally 2021. So.
You mean 2022?
Yeah, whatever this is. 2020. Yeah. No, 2022. 2021 had some hotter days, but yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go to Washington, D.C., where good old Jim Williams resides as the Capitals host the Panthers in Game 4. You were right about how things went in Game 1 of that series when we talked about it last week, Scott. Then Florida bounced back in Game 2 before Washington took Game 3 convincingly at home after switching goaltenders.
Yep.
Ilya Samsonov expects to be back in net for Washington tonight against Sergei Bobrovsky. We got a couple of teams that have been snake bit in the playoffs, and I know everybody wants to talk about how Washington won the Stanley Cup a couple of years ago. That's all well and good. The problem is that Washington has been relatively just as bad when it comes to having playoff success. I guess they're allergic to it, some of these teams, because if you look outside of that run with the Cup, Washington was notorious for finding ways. They had 3 straight first-round exits since then. They lost 3 straight second-round series prior to the Stanley Cup. So it's hard to get a handle on what Washington brings to the table at any given basis. I know Florida, we talked about how they haven't won a playoff series since 96. But, I think this is a bounce-back game for them. They know they don't want to go down 3-1 going back to Sunrise. Samsonov was inconsistent all season. I know he had 24 wins, but you look at his goals against, nearly 3. His save percentage is under 900. Jim wants to know why we're not taking the Caps. Well, I don't like Washington.
Too much gridlock.
Yeah, there you go. And, everybody still remembers Dale Hunter.
Sure they do.
Even Reichel, who wasn't alive when Dale Hunter did that, said Dale Hunter's a dick.
What did he do?
In the 93 playoffs against the Islanders, Hunter was in his own zone. Pierre Turgeon stole the puck from him, went in and scored it. It iced.
Oh, that's right. He boarded him after the goal.
Turgeon's celebrating. There's 15,000 or whatever fans at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum screaming. The goal music's going off and everything else, and Hunter comes up and waffles him like he's, vintage WWF heel, comes up and bells him with a steel chair or something. Brained him into the boards. Turgeon, I think, missed the rest of the playoffs. He might have come back in the Eastern Conference Finals for a game or 2. Hunter got suspended 21 games. His excuse was that he didn't know he scored and he didn't see the light go on.
So they didn't necessarily buy that excuse.
No, and I mean, this was back before Gary Bettman was even commissioner. So, I mean, you can't even blame him.
So something that happened 30 years ago, you're still salty about that.
Actually, Reichel's more salty about than I never liked Hunter. I always thought Hunter was a dirty player, but I don't like Washington because Washington knocked Toronto out in the conference finals back in the late 90s.
Okay. All right, let's talk about something from this century, shall we? Caps are up 2-1.
Yep.
Florida
I'm not sold that Samsonov can shut Florida down. I mean, if you look, Barkov has only got a goal and an assist. They came in the win. He was blanked in the other 2 games. You've got Bennett and there's someone and Huberdeau that combined for 61 goals in the regular season. They haven't scored yet. It's tough to contain Florida for an extended period. I just think that the Panthers will win this one. They might not win the series. I mean, Washington may well win the series. I'm not going to say that one way or the other right now, but I think Florida will get the win here to go home even at 2.
Okay.
Now, I guess you don't have an opinion.
I do have an opinion. I want no part of laying minus 175 against a team that traditionally chokes in the first round of the playoffs. I know they both do that, but the Capitals have something that the Panthers don't have, and that's at least one run to the cup. Nope. And they may well win. Absolutely a strong possibility. I just don't want to get involved at that price, buddy.
Well, that's all well and good. That's why you don't pick hockey games.
Oh, well, okay. We'll see.
Well, no, I know most of the time you said you don't necessarily do a lot of hockey games.
No, I don't follow. I'll just say I don't follow as closely as I follow the other 3 sports.
Right. That's all I meant.
So I do. I've been forced to educate myself because we talk about it a lot, and I am at least aware of trends and things like that. So we'll see.
Well, here's the other game tonight.
Now here's a big number I can get behind. Go ahead.
The Colorado Avalanche, they lead the series 3-0 facing the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
Nashville, like Reichel said when we were talking in the text chain, Nashville was dead when Saros got hurt.
Ingram had the game of his life, and they still lost.
Yeah. So, and then, he came back to earth in game 3. I mean, if you're going to lean on anything for Nashville, you can lean on the fact that Francouz is starting after Kemper got hurt the other night. Speaking of, did you see that hit or that incident where the stick went up under Kemper's mask?
Yeah, they're in the in the crease. Not good. Not good.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long he might be out. It's going to be interesting. But Francouz, he wasn't bad, as a backup coming in at 16-5-1, 256 goals against, 916 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Colorado's 11-1 in their last 12 first-round games. Meanwhile, Nashville has dropped 6 straight in the first round. Not really a trend you want when you're down 3-0.
Chris, let me ask you something here. Kind of off topic, but are you surprised you don't see more cheap shots against the star players in team sports like it's hard to take out a pitcher, but like a quarterback, a goalie, things like that you can do it quickly, and of course you'll be penalized at the time. But I mean, in the long term, I mean, if you take a cheap shot at Pat Mahomes and knock him out of the game, and you get a 15-yard penalty, why don't we see that more often?
That's a good question. I mean, you used to see it in hockey, and then teams got wise and said, well, okay, if you're going to try to take out Wayne Gretzky, that's all right. We'll just roll out Dave Semenko,
right,
and Marty McSorley, and guys like that. I guess it's the interest of fair play. Nobody wants to be labeled as a cheap shot artist.
I mean, it is one of the last bastions of sporting integrity, I would say.
I would agree with you. I mean, nobody wants to be classified as Rodney Harrison.
No, very true. Very true.
And I think that's probably why, because, I mean, the guys like that, or Bernard Pollard. Remember Bernard Pollard
played for the Chiefs
when he wrecked Brady's knee?
I do.
Nobody liked him outside of Kansas City, probably at that point.
That ended up coming up to bite. That ended up biting the Chiefs in the ass, though, because who took over for Brady?
Matt Castle.
Where'd Matt Castle go after that? After the next year?
Oh, did he end up over there after that?
Yeah. We had him for 3-4 years.
We had him for a couple, but I mean, he didn't really do anything.
No, he was our starter, buddy. He was our starter. So, yeah, that ended up biting Kansas City in the ass big time. I would say that was one of the worst things that Pollard could have done.
And then it affected him later on because he didn't really get a ton of contract offers after that either.
No, he did not. As far as this game goes, how many goals do you think that the
Avalanche are going to score?
How many? I was going to say, well, that's another way to ask my question. How many do you think the Preds have to score to win? 4?
Probably at least.
Yeah, at least. Can they put up 4? Can they put up 4 against the backup goalie?
I don't know if they can get 4 on Francouz. I mean, they didn't put up a whole lot after he came in on Saturday. And even if you do, can you slow down? Can you open up that much and hope that Ingram can bail you out like he did in game 2? Because, like you said, he played the game of his life and they still lost.
Right. And, the Avs have put up 7 twice in this series, and then, 2 in the game that, Ingram stood on his head. So you could be wildly optimistic thinking that you're going to win if you get to 4. 4 may not do it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, even at the plus 1.5 on the puck line, it's still even money. I mean, how often do you expect to see that at plus 100 for that, based on the fact that we've seen 2 games, like you said, there were 7-2 and 7-3.
Right. Yep. Exactly right. And you also get a situation where this is where they're down 3-0. If Nashville gets into an early hole, 2-0, 3-0, absolutely over.
Yeah, turn the lights out.
Yep. All right, very good. What else you got?
Now we can go to the NBA, and that brings us to Kevin, who said he had a terrible day with taking Phoenix on the money line and taking Philadelphia, Miami under.
Mm-hmm.
He's hoping to turn things around today, and he's talking about taking Milwaukee and the under.
Okay.
Along with Golden State minus the points, Boston in the first half, Golden State and over in the first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard not to play the under in this game. I mean, obviously, these two teams are kind of due to break out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've played just absolute slugfest. Only one of them has got to 200, and that was 204.
Yeah.
But the Bucks, they're doing their playoff defense thing, and
they lead the playoffs 96.9 points a game.
They've seen the under cash in every single one of their playoff games. So
yeah, I think the under is a safe bet. I mean, even if they go, like you said, even if they go over 200, where are they going to get to? 207, 208?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, again, I wouldn't sit in stunned amazement if this game ended up at 230 as both teams found their offensive stroke. But I think the smart money has to be on the under at this point.
I agree. And you said you think Boston is going to prevail as well.
Yeah, I do. I think there were so many things that went wrong, including just a terrible shooting performance from most of the Boston team. They shoot 37% from the field. So you have to see room for improvement there, even with a good Milwaukee defense. I don't think Boston is that bad on the offensive side. So
yeah, 9 of 33 from 3-point range, and 4 of the threes that they made were from Al Horford.
Yeah, Horford had a day of his life.
Yeah, Tatum 0 for 6 from 3, 4 of 19 from the floor. Smart was 1 for 8.
Yeah, Smart and Tatum were dreadful. Both of them were just awful.
Grant Williams was 2 for 9. And, at least they only played Thace. I like to call him Lou Thez, but, he only played 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
I'll tell you what, I like, I don't know what Giannis's point total is. Probably somewhere around 30 or so. They haven't shown an ability to stop him. They've stopped everybody else. And at times, that Milwaukee offense looks a little choppy and out of sorts without Middleton there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good floor spacer.
Right, and then at times they're fine. It just depends on how the breakout goes and what defense the Boston Celtics throw at them. But they've been inconsistent on the offensive side of the ball. But the one thing that has been consistent is Giannis has got his. And
and you look at that game the other day, he shot the ball 30 times, so did Holiday, and the rest of the team shot at 39.
Right. And you're not seeing much bench scoring from either one of these teams.
No, not at all. I mean, Milwaukee had 20 points off the bench. For 11 of those came from Connaughton, and Portis had the other 9. And then from Boston, Derek White had 14, and Grant Williams had 9 in the last game. They're not really going as deep as you would think. They're only going about 8 guys because, I mean, if you look, the 9th guy for Milwaukee played 2:18. The 9th guy for Boston played 2:17.
Yeah, it's like watching a college team in the tournament.
Yeah.
When they whittled it down to 7, maybe 8. Maybe you got an 8 guy getting 5-10 minutes, but other than that, they're running a 6-7 man rotation.
Let's see what the line is. Antetokounmpo's point total.
I'm going to go with 30.5, maybe 31.5.
Let's see. This shows if Antetokounmpo to score at least 25 is minus 500. To score at least 30, it's minus 155.
Okay, so we're looking at 32.5 or so to break even.
Yeah, give or take.
Man, I still like it. I still think you've got to play that.
Okay, let's see. Number on here we go. Antetokounmpo is 31.5 is minus 105.
Okay, all right, and he's hit that last 2.
Yeah, because he had 42 in the last game.
He's hit it in 3. He hit it 3 of 5 against Chicago. And, he just only hit it once against Boston. He went 42 last time and then 28-24. So, but I still think he is the man. I think the deeper they go, the more he takes over, and they haven't shown an ability to stop him yet.
And I mean, you pretty much have to go to him because I mean, who else are you going to reliably count on to put the ball in the basket?
Yeah, that's right. Brook Lopez was actually pretty good last time out.
But do you want to rely on Brook Lopez?
No, that's the thing. Those are kind of one-offs. You see those results, and you're like, well, that's not likely to happen again. So
yeah, the other overs on players there. Tatum's at 28.5, Brown's at 25.5, Holiday's at 21.5.
No,
and then they all drop down to like 12.
Yeah, I mean, one of those 3 are going to cash. I don't know which one. I'm gonna ride the best player on the court.
I don't blame you.
To hit his total there. So,
and that takes us to the Grizzlies and the Warriors. Ugly numbers. If you're from a betting perspective, I know everybody's like you want to talk. Like we said, you want to talk about Memphis. They played well without Morant in the regular season.
Yep.
But this is the playoffs, and we said in this series, without Morant on the floor, they've been outscored by 32 points in 29 minutes. I get it. Golden State's not going to shoot 63 or 64% or whatever they shot the other day. But the one thing you can say about the Warriors, they have depth. And we were just talking about how you don't get a ton of bench points in that Boston-Milwaukee series, but you look in this series with Golden State, and in the playoffs, I think Golden State's getting like 44 points a game from their bench.
Made all the difference in the world. Yeah. Of course, that's kind of skewed, Chris. And why is that?
Well, because Curry was off the bench originally.
There you go.
But he's back in the lineup now.
I understand, but you're really running almost a 6-man starting rotation there.
True.
But yeah, my problem with this, what seems to be different than this Memphis team without Morant during the regular season, is Desmond Bane is banged up, and
he's been bad on that back issue,
right? And he has not been nearly as effective as he was in Morant's absence during the regular season. So that's my concern there. If you want to make the case that Memphis was 20-5 without Morant, which is all well and good, but when you don't have Bane healthy, I think this could be an entirely different animal here.
Now, what do you make of Jaren Jackson? He's been basically a non-factor most of the postseason, which is weird because he's a talented player, a lot of skill, a lot of ability, but he hasn't really done a whole lot because he's been in foul trouble all the damn time.
Yeah, he has. He fouled out of the game 3 against Golden State. Picked up a couple early fouls the last time out, and he went for 33 in the opener. And then hasn't really been heard of since. Going just 12 and 15 points. You're definitely going to need him to go 22, 23 plus.
Yeah, and if you look, the weird thing is that if you look at the player props, there's 3 players with point totals over 20, and none of them play for Memphis.
That's not a good sign.
They've got Bane and Dylan Brooks at 18.5, and that's the high end for them.
What's Jackson's total? 13.5 or so?
15.5.
15.5?
Yeah.
No, can't do it. Can't do it.
I actually have it in the shot in the dark. I have Jordan Poole going over 20.5 because,
Okay.
like you said, they're running a 6-man rotation.
Because somebody's got to score.
Well, and I mean, Poole had 27 the other night.
Yeah.
And you look, I mean, he had 20 in game 2. He had 31 in game 1 against Denver in the first couple of games. He had 29 and 27 and 30 and 20. So I mean, he's been good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, six games with at least 20 points out of 8.
Yeah. When you bump Steph out of the starting lineup, you're probably pretty good.
Allegedly.
I know.
Mr. Jokey.
So you're okay with laying the 10 there?
Yeah, I mean, we just watched Memphis get obliterated, and I'm not sold on Memphis right now. I know getting Brooks back will help, but you're getting Brooks back
without Morant.
Right, without Morant, and like you said, Bane is banged up. So I mean, who's the second or third guy to step up? We know it's not going to be Jackson more than likely. So where are you going to get points? Is it going to be Brandon Clark? Is it going to be Tyus Jones? Is it going to be Scott Michelle?
It's going to be Adams.
Oh, it did. Jeez, there he goes. One team, you'd have to live bet the Yankees Rangers because that game started. They're in the top of the 6th already. No score there. Nestor Cortez hasn't given up a hit yet through 5, Scott.
It's been very, very good. Very good this season.
Would you live bet the Yankees over the Rangers?
Yes. Well, I'm sure it's a prohibitive price. Probably.
I don't know. It's, like I said, it's donuts in the top of the 6th.
I would guess you're still going to pay minus 175, minus 180. I'll take a look here and see what kind of live price you can get on that.
And John's in a bunker. Yeah, I'm still trying to collect that money you owe me, John. What the hell? Get out of that damn bunker before I have somebody go and blow it up.
I hadn't told you about this. Minus 190. I was close.
Yep. So you were pretty close on the money there.
I solved the big mystery in my house like Thursday of last week. I got a Royals hat from eBay, made out addressed to me, and it had the return address, obviously, of the eBay seller. So I had no idea where it came from. And then I had one of my guys in the comment section ask me on yesterday's video, "Hey, did you get the hat I sent you?" Like, yes, I did.
How the hell did they get your address?
I wondered the same thing, and then I Googled Scott Steehn address, and the third link had it. So
there you go.
Apparently it ain't that hard because I thought the same thing. I'm like, ooh, that's not good. But
stalker.
All the more reason I should have used a fucking pseudonym. But you know what? This is an overwhelmingly positive experience. The only time people are kind of dicks is when we lose. And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I don't blame you. So I get it. And again,
yeah, there it is. I'll be damned.
What's that?
Your address.
Oh, my address. Yeah. so let's tell everybody, shall we?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Special shout out. Straight.
Special shout out to Bronco Devil down there in Austin who sent me that hat. It's very good.
He's from Williamsville and he's sending you crap about the Royals. What the hell's up with that?
It's a great hat, dude. It's a really great hat. It's one of the nice ones, you know. So yeah, I got no beefs. If anybody else wants to look at my address and send me shit, by all means do it. I'm all about it. I will never wonder. But my only thing would be kind of put something in there or give me a heads up that it's coming, so I don't have to ask all my kids and everybody I know if you send me a hat. So
there you go.
I feel like Spicoli in Fast Times. Like
Steehn got a hat. What the hell?
I got a hat. I wore it in last night's video. So I would have worn it today.
This is just bullshit.
I just got out of the shower. And I can
tell your hair didn't move.
I would have a hat hair for until I take my next shower. So
next week.
Yeah, I don't rock the hat all the time like you do, buddy.
Well, it's a gift.
I'm proud of my hairline.
What hairline?
Oh God. Okay. What else we got?
Well, now we'll move on to the 2 for the money part.
2 for the money. All right, here we go. We got about 5 minutes. Let's rock and roll.
Yep, we talked about the Dodgers and the Giants already. I like them there, and I like the Warriors and the Avs.
By the way, we like the run line on both of those.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to lay the 1.5.
Yeah, and we definitely like the puck line with Colorado because the only game they didn't cover the puck line was
when Ingram stood on his head.
and he's still,
I would
awesome.
definitely look at that for a live betting perspective. Because, like we said, if Colorado goes up early, it's over.
Yep. I would agree with that 100%.
All right. What else you got?
Well, now I got the 4 for the show.
All right.
Brought to you by Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
Is it just me that I'm the only one that it's bothered that we don't do 3 to get ready?
Blame Jim.
All right, fair enough. All right, buddy.
We talked about the Reds earlier and faded.
The Reds. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know it's a shocker. I'm going to go with the Brewers. On the plus side, at least the Reds will have an almost major league pitcher on the mound today. Luis Castillo expected to come off the IL to make his season debut.
It's the only reason I didn't take this game because I don't know what Castillo's going to be.
I just figured he won't go more than like 5 innings.
You wouldn't think so. You got to think he'd be on a pitch restriction somewhere around 60 to 70, I would guess.
Yeah, Brandon Woodruff going for the Brew Crew.
Okay, solid.
Elsewhere, the White Sox over the Guardians. It's Michael Kopech, not the former money in Eastern Europe. This is actually a pitcher going against, I think it's Zach Plesac again.
It is. That's a nice pull there, by the way.
Thank you very much. Plesac, I haven't been impressed with him this year. I know we talked about him last week. Have you seen anything good about him?
He's had a couple of decent performances, but for the most part, he's a guy that cannot be counted on. And
look at his last 2. He gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3 against the Angels, and then he gave up 5 against the Pods in 5 innings.
Yep, he was outstanding to start the season, giving up just 3 earned in his first 3 starts that covered 17 2/3 innings, which was that's outstanding. Of course, one of those teams was the Royals, so. I always have to put that caveat on there, but he has been absolutely dreadful. Last 2 times out, as you mentioned, 10 earned over just 8 2/3 innings. Not good.
Yeah, no bueno.
You're fading a fading pitcher. Not a bad idea at all.
Yep. And then the Panthers over the Caps, we talked about. We go different ways on that, but it's all right. Okay. And I'm gonna go with the Rangers over the Penguins. I think everybody's gonna look at the score the other day and say, "Well, the Penguins won 7-4." Yeah, well, the Penguins were ahead 4-1, and then it was 4-4 all of a sudden. So I think the Rangers will be desperate here. They're going to want to even it up, go back to Madison Square Garden on Wednesday with a chance to take the series lead back.
Okay, very good. And
then
now
that takes us to the giant mess, or as Jim likes to call it, the menu.
Throwing some shit at the wall.
Yeah, see what sticks.
Welcome to Cheesecake Factory, everybody. Can I get you a crane for that menu?
I'm going to take the A's. We talked about that briefly before. They're actually a slight underdog against the Tigers. Like we said, it's Blackburn going for Oakland. On the flip side, it's supposed to be Michael Pineda. Not to be confused with Arnold Pineda, the guy who's fronting Journey.
Arnell,
sorry.
Not Arnold.
I'm going to call him Arnold if I want to. It's my show.
Michael Pineda. Yeah. He's pitched well. God bless you having confidence in Oakland. Lost 9 straight. So
they lost 9 straight, but they gave the Twins everything they wanted over the weekend.
They're due, buddy.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the Tigers just got swept by Houston. They're not playing all that well either.
Correct.
And, I mean, look at it this way: you want Oakland to win because Detroit plays in the AL Central.
Man, I wish I cared about the AL Central race. I wish I thought that was relevant, but you're right. You're right. Just by force of habit, I cheer for AL Central teams to lose. So
okay, let's see. The Mariners are supposed to play the Phillies. I don't know why it didn't save when I saved it. It's Ranger Suarez going for Philadelphia against Chris Flexen. Feel bad for George Kirby. The Mariners called him up yesterday. He threw 6 scoreless innings, got a no decision. The Mariners lost 1-0.
Scandalous.
Yep. I'm going to take the Diamondbacks over the Marlins. Big pitching matchup, Scott. Eliezer Hernandez going against Humberto Castellanos.
By the way, Tampa, they lost 2-1 in that one, buddy.
Oh, did they?
Seattle won that game 2-1.
Oh, they came back. Okay. It was 1-0 going to the 9th, and I was like, well, fuck this. Eric Swanson gave up a homer. Stupid
Rally,
piece
baby.
of crap.
Rally.
Well, there you go.
All right.
And then I'm going to go with the Angels over Tampa Bay. Noah Syndergaard going against everybody's favorite pitcher, Jeffrey Springs.
Why is he everybody's favorite?
He's not. Earlier it was still TBD.
Oh, okay.
But apparently they announced that Springs is going to be the opener.
Okay. Syndergaard's been good this year.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't hate
I guess
that.
he's going to make himself some money.
I'm okay with that.
We talked about the Celtics and the Bucks. I think it's going to go under 212. You still agree with that?
Got to play it that way. I mean, again, you may lose, but it's like getting your cards turned up, having the best of it. You know, you're taking a shot on a great trend, two defenses that have done the job. That's a very solid play.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, on the same token, I'm going to go with Memphis and Golden State over 223.5. This number's actually come down. It was 227 when the Lions opened.
Yeah.
They can keep dropping it down. I don't care if Golden State can score 120 by themselves. We've seen them do it a whole bunch of times in the playoffs.
120 by themselves may not get us to this total, by the way.
You don't think Memphis can score 104?
I'm just saying. It's
That's true.
It's possible that they could put up 120 and not hit the over. I have no confidence in this Memphis team without Morant and without anybody that's playing well right now in a secondary role. So, God bless you. Warriors are going to have to do most of the heavy lifting, and they certainly might. So,
then like I said, I'm going to take Jordan Poole over 20.5.
Okay.
We said he's scored at least 20 in 6 out of 8 playoff games. And like you said, if you're good enough to move Curry to the bench, there you go.
And you also could get a situation where if the Warriors get a big lead, Curry sits a little more than he normally would, giving Poole more opportunities. So
that's true.
I like that.
The Flames and Stars under 5.5. Game 3 was an aberration where it ended up 4-2 because they scored in an empty net.
All right.
I don't think they'll get there this time.
Okay.
I think the Rangers and Penguins will go over 6 because after they didn't score against each other in the regular season, now they're just scoring all the friggin' time.
Yep. Lighten it up.
And I think Florida and Washington will go over 6.5. It's a heavy juice for a line number. I'm surprised they didn't bump it to 7. Of course, there could be some books that have it at 7 now, in which case I would probably not touch it. But I think this is going to end up another 4-3, 5-2, 5-3 type of game that ends up over the number. Because neither one of these teams are very good defensively, and they have a lot of offensive weapons.
Okay, very good. All right, man. That's a show. Happy Monday. Welcome back, everybody. That's a lot of information, a lot of plays to make there. Pick and choose. And, pick out things that you like. Chris, any final words?
Just be glad there's not a bunch of rainouts like we had at the end of last week.
Brutal weekend for rainouts. Absolutely brutal. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it. We appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate all the fun comments, and we appreciate your continued support here of our efforts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Of course, don't forget to check out our partners over there at Max Wagers Network and all the great work that they're doing. And of course, check out our deal that we've got going with Caesars. $1,100 bet insurance, first bet up to $1,100, absolutely risk-free. Must be a first-time player at Caesars, first-time deposit, and first bet only 21 to play, 18 in New Hampshire and Wyoming. And I guess that's it. I was gonna plug our Kentucky Derby guide, and you know who I bet without remembering everything that was written in that guide. You know who they didn't take?
Rich Strike. The funny thing was, like I told you the other day, the person who did take Rich Strike was Detroit Lenny's kid. And Lenny told him he couldn't do it because he was too long of a shot.
Yep, going to hear about that for the rest of his life. Enjoy it, Lenny. All right. Oh, finally, we get the adult dating site.
Fantastic. And don't forget, if you can't get enough picks from Scott and I, we've got our premium picks. You can get those in the show box below as well.
Yep. Chris has premium parlays. I've got premium picks. Like I said, we went 3-0 yesterday, so make sure you check that out. Stay tuned for Scott and I doing our thing here coming up right around the corner. In fact, right now. So you guys take care.
Max Wagers Network 8, the Ocho.
The Ocho. Very good. You guys have a great day. Good luck on all your plays. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you in 1 minute, whatever it is. Stay tuned, and we'll be back to do it tomorrow with Chris and I as we talk about everything under the sun, but mainly just parlays. Take care, everybody. We'll